Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of the KISS Down Under race out on the London course in Zwift. The riders are just getting underway here. We are down over at the Production Ride London start-finish line right now, and the Down Under race, which is serving the Australian time zone mainly, just got underway. Today's race is going to be an all-category race, all mixed together. The A, B, C, and D riders are all starting together. Looks like we had almost, I think it was about 70 racers or so show up in the middle, I believe, of their summer, actually. So this is a time where the numbers do dip down just a little bit, but not too much, as we definitely have some big hitters showing up. A lot of Australian flags flying by as they just came by this start finish banner just now. So let's get right into the racing. As you can see here, that it looks like a KISS here, TBR, coming out of Australia, was leading it out, followed by AU, and who's now taken the front of the course just now. Oh, Gray there from the Bolt Racing team in that power tap kit that they do like to use out on course there, now taking up the lead up into that 342 watts. And as you can see, the heart rates have spiked with that initial kick that you often see. Vegan Porsche out on course right now. Anthony hammering away, it looks like, here in the Vision kit out of Australia as well. He was giving us a little information right before the dinner had just gone down, so we'll see. Hopefully he can work on through that, as he's throwing down, I believe right now, 171 beats per minute. Out on course today, it is going to be the London loop, so they are going to be hammering away on the regular loop. They're not going to be hitting the classic course much at all. They're going to take a left-hand turn out of Trafalgar Square and then head right on over toward Box Hill. They're going to do 2 times up Box Hill, 2 laps out on the London loop. We're most likely going to see somewhere right around, I believe, 45 to 50 minutes of racing today for the front runners in the A category. We will be able to follow all the categories fairly closely today because of them being all mixed together, not having separate start times. It looks like right from the get-go, though, we're going to try and find where this initial split is going to be taken. We did have a few riders talking about whether or not there were going to be the ability to draft on some of the A riders from the B category. Some of the B category and C category riders were wondering if that is legal in this ride, and yes, it definitely is, because they're all mixed together. You can draft on anybody you like that you can try and hang on to at your own risk. There was a few riders saying good luck with that from the B category. Don't blow up right off the bat, right off the get-go. We do see here now the first one to fall off the back and bite the dust from the front group looks to be N. Pedlo here, followed by M. Beckers trying to get back on terms with Pedlo. It looks like 4.6 watts per kilogram coming out of Australia. Tax Neo here hammering away. One of the first female athletes, it looks like, out on course in that ZA kit. And actually, this is a kit of accomplishment that you're looking at right here. This is a kit that you earn by doing all of the Zwift Academy workouts within the Zwift Academy timeline, I believe it was. And so pretty cool to see a rider out there donning the kit from the Zwift Academy that took place last summer. That was a talent identification program that actually awarded one woman, Leah Torkelson, a spot on the Canyon SRAM Pro team for this year in 2017. She's out there riding and racing with that pro team now this year through that talent identification program. So whenever you see this kit, that is what that's all about, and it actually says it's 2016, as you can see here right on the back of the kit here, representing the Zwift Academy for 2016. So congratulations to this rider. It looks like Tax Neo throwing down here right now in about, it looks like, second place, well, in the second chase group, I should say, while the front runners are starting to walk away a little bit. Ellis Senders here from the PTZ team hammering away. We watched an awesome battle with the Senders and Ian Anderson actually this past Tuesday in the B category race. Actually, that was pretty awesome to watch this past Tuesday. Actually, Ian Anderson, he runs KRT Racer Focus. The KISS Racing team has a Racer Focus. Actually, Dafford Williams right here representing the KISS Racing team, actually up toward the front of the group right now, being attacked here. It looks like by Vegan Porsche. It looks like Daffod here trying to hang onto that wheel, but Senders, as we were saying though, was battling it out with Ian Anderson from the KRT this past Tuesday, all the way to the line. It looked like on a Volcano Crit course, actually. We'll see if Ascenders can better that second place that he took to Ian, actually, as Ian did take the sprint. Actually, no, I'm sorry. He didn't take second place, but he hammered it out and almost took second, but then ended up being the workout horse, it looked like, for Ian. That was really nice of him. I seen that. And then the group did catch them, but Ian did win the sprint in that final loop out on the Crit course on the new Volcano loop, actually, that was over on Watopia on Tuesday. So it's cool to see Ascenders out there battling out and working for a friend out there on course. We'll see if he can better, though, that result today. It looks like him, O'Brien, it looks like Benke in here coming out of Michigan, I believe, actually. Benke out of the USA. One of, actually, for him, it would be 3:36 a.m. right now, 6 minutes into this race right now. It looks like he is up pretty dang early here. Good to see him out there riding for the Race WBR team. As you can see here, that is the kit that we are currently looking at for him. World Bicycle Relief, that is one of the largest teams actually out on the world of Zwift, one of the longest standing ones, actually. So good to see him racing and representing in this front group right now. But they are trying to chase down the actual front group. Actually, is 3 seconds off the front, a breakaway of 2. But it looks like Nico here coming out of Japan, followed by Inot Sume here as well. Going to chase those boys right on down. And that group is going to be splintered a little bit, though, if that continues to happen. It looks like Batti Otto out of Italy now falling off pace just a tad here. A rider hanging right on his wheel. It doesn't look like to be a part of the race, actually. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Jay Creel is right here, actually, is who was up ahead there, and Battiato was the one hanging on the wheel. So these two are definitely a part of the race. We need to close it down right now before they hit the underground. Go right on up into Box Hill for the first ascent. We're going to really see this group break apart, I believe, at that point. Top Cat is also in here from the AHDR, from the Bolt Racing team. It looks like Jay O'Brien, as we had said a little earlier. Oh, Match here, another rider that we hadn't mentioned yet. It looks like Littermort is here coming out of Australia. F. Aggie has also made this front group. Brody is in there from the B race as well. So it looks like we got about 17 to 20 riders, somewhere right around there, in this lead group right now, about to make their way into the underground and head on up Box Hill. Let's move back a little bit and see what the chase group's looking like. Brody then in here with Yoon. It looks like D. Cheem, as well as Pets, Shaq, and Russell then 26 seconds back. This is the chase group before, the main chase group out on course. It is all B riders with one C rider hanging tough in there. Let's go ahead and give him a ride on. We'll see if he went a little bit over limit to hang in here, or if he can go all the way to the line in this C race, or maybe going for the upgrade into the B or A category. Smitherman is in here as well, hammering away out of the US of A, and it is an early morning for Smitherman, it looks like, with Pedlaw, K. Russell. We were seeing, it looks like, Bird teams here coming from the Bolt Racing team in that Power Tap kit. This is the third chase group out on course right now, being led out by Tax Neo here out of Japan, hammering away one of the lead female riders out on course. All right, heading right on over to Box Hill, right up to the front. We do see Dafford Williams. I think him and Vegan Porsche going to be a couple of the favorites to win today. Let's go ahead and open up on Zwift Power to see exactly what is going on with all of these riders and their past race results, as I believe ZwiftPower.com should have some live results updating for us here in just a moment. I am seeing a few comments coming through over on social media. If you guys would like to get any kind of interaction with us, you can go ahead and tweet at Z Community Live. If you tweet at Z Community Live, or if you make a comment in the post actually over on our Facebook as well, we can bring some interaction actually with you guys right into the broadcast. So make sure to interact. And it looks like we do have a great graphic here, thanks to VeloViewer. Absolutely awesome, these new graphics that they are providing for us today. And as you can see, they are heading right on into Box Hill right now. And we're doing Kiss London 2 laps today. Distance is going to be 29.6 kilometers. The riders are I'm sorry, that is in miles. We need to change that up. 7.6 kilometers in at the moment, about 10 minutes of the racing in at this second. So Z Community Live, thanks a lot for the tweet out there. And check out the race profile of the Kiss Road Race on Go Zwift, thanks to VeloViewer. Live race broadcast right now, as you can see And great graphics coming our way thanks to the productions over at VeloViewer and then our Zwift Community Live production manager. Thanks a lot for that tip. And we are seeing Kevin, let's see if we've got a few others coming in here actually through our social media integration. See if I can bring that right on up for you guys. I got to find that post actually, it looks like, for today's race. And there it is. And now you guys, I will be able to see everything that you guys are bringing our way. And this is getting pretty extreme. Rouse House David Atwood, Brent Williams is saying, Matthew Locker saying, good group, and that's the AB group. Right on, watching from Guam. Wow, that is a great, I want to definitely feature that, as I've never seen J-Word come into the broadcast before. So good to see you in the broadcast here at J-Word. And welcome to the world of Zwift Community Live racing broadcasts. Really great to see you there. So if you'd like to be featured again, social media integration is a great way to interact with the broadcasts. Vegan Portion now with Dan MBF here, right along with Ryuti here on the Go-Go Power Rangers, A-Kiss, and then it looks like Dafford Williams. Inotsumi with Jay Creel, and then Littigamore just off the back, it looks like here. If we take a look at the, if we can get a look from the first person point of view, there it is. There's the group right ahead of him. It's about 3 to 4 seconds. That's what that looks like. But 3 to 4 seconds is a solid 22 meters or so, 22 meters or so, and on a 5% grade uphill. I was actually climbing Box Hill just a little bit earlier today. I'm sorry, not Box Hill. I was climbing the mountain route just a little earlier today. I used the World Hack to get into the mountain course to do a couple of 20 to 30 minute intervals up and over the top to the top of the tower. And when you are climbing at that 5 to 7 to 8% gradient, and you are absolutely hammering away right there, 5 seconds, 6 seconds, 7 seconds is actually a fairly big gap actually, and it's very difficult to close that down unless you do a huge amount of effort over what the other riders are doing up ahead of you. You got to put out 6, 7 watts per kilogram, 2 watts per kilogram higher, so just to close that down pretty quickly actually. And so as you can see here, Omat's trying to get back on turns, but I think they're going to be going backwards as this group is absolutely hammered. And Vegan Porsche here, I believe, being one of the lighter riders out on course, this is the place where he is going to excel actually. As you can see, 5.0 watts per kilogram coming from him, as well as the Japanese rider here hammering away 5.2 or so. Inotsumi now there right along with him with MBF then and A-Kiss, and it looks like Dafford Williams just barely grabbing right onto the back of these wheels. And we watched him actually do a FTP test live action. I know that his FTP, I believe, in that test was right around that 280-ish range or so, and we can see him right up at that 156. I know that his max heart rate is not much higher than this, so he's really starting to ride that fine line right now to hang in with this lead group. And as you can see here, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 riders right now making up an elite group off the front, trying to be chased down by O-Match here, right along with Nico getting right back onto that wheel, hopefully about 3 seconds back from O-Match. Gray here now, right along with Top Cap, the 2 BRT riders now, about 23 seconds back. They're going to have to make that up on the downhill, maybe working together. It looks like we got a little bit of a heart rate malfunction. I've seen that before where it just drops off one of the front numbers now coming from Top Cap. But Gray here at 167, trying to hang on to the rider's wheel right ahead of him. Is this actually a pro rider from the Quebec team actually just ahead of Top Cat and Gray there, hammering away as they grab onto his wheel going by? I cannot see any of the other riders that are out on course, but I have a feeling that may actually be a pro rider going right on by Top Cat at this point. Maybe we could get a couple of little bit of information from some of our viewers. Maybe you could tweet at me exactly who is out on course just ahead of Top Cat at this point so we could highlight that. F. Battiato here with Banky now, hammering away. It looks like SRPR there from the MGCC team. It looks like just a little ways back from them. 2 seconds is what he's got to make up in that CRCA kit, it looks like. F. Aggie here out of Australia. 1, 2, 3 riders now making up the, I want to say, second or third chase group out on course. Now we're going to see what kind of a pace these boys are starting to set up toward the front, though, as they are only almost up and over the crest, the initial crest out on course. They hit this flattening out section a little bit, and then it's a dash to the line to try and hit the finish, not the finish, but the banner, the KOM banner, as quickly as possible. On the left-hand side here, you can see for this event the times over the top of Box Hill for the KOM. And if you have the fastest time out on course, you do grab that KOM jersey for 1 hour straight, actually. Little competitions within the game that you can do. And this is actually a part of the event, though. Who's got the fastest time for the event? For everyone who's out on course at this moment right now, there is a King of the Mountain, Queen of the Mountain banner, actually, for those who have the fastest time out in the entire world of Zwift. 6:18, solid ride to the top. Definitely about 20 seconds though off of the crazy fast times you see at the front of a lot of the A races. So we'll see if they do ramp it up on the next lap. It looks like the fastest time for this specific event though is going to be going to the two Japanese riders, actually. 6:18.8 coming from Inotsume and Orioto. They're out of Japan. Creel then following closely with a 6:19 and Vegan Porsche 6:19 as well. All 6:19s all the way through for 7th place over the top then. So as they kick up over this last little kicker over Box Hill, now it's going to kick into that 9 to 10% gradient now. Vegan Porsche now trying to take up the charge at the front, and it looks like Daffy Williams following very quickly with the 7 watts per kilogram. Horioti here now following very closely. Dan using a little bit of a feather power up there. Maybe he grabbed through the banner on the KOM there. If you're unfamiliar with what those power-ups are all about, actually, that power-up, that feather power-up, actually increases his watts per kilogram, or lightens his avatar, so his watts per kilogram go up by 1 watt per kilogram, actually. So he used that on up and over the top of that last little kick in order to hang onto those wheels. And you can see as the riders go by there, we've got 5 riders, and they did get a 4-second gap now over the top there, over Creel, and it looks like a kiss. And this is a very bad time to be falling off. If they do not get right back onto those wheels, it's going to be really difficult to stay with this group. You've got to throw down huge wattage on downhills because the group starts rolling away. And Daffy Williams here, 2.4 now, not really too interested, it looks like, on making it too fast and taking full advantage of the gap that they do have now. But it looks like a kiss here out of Australia with Jay Creel right on his wheel now. The two Australians working very well together, it looks like, to try and get back on terms with the front. Now it looks like the Sagan tuck now coming from a kiss as he bumps his heart rate up into that 185 beats per minute, realizing they might be in a whole world of hurt, a whole world of trouble, and maybe going directly off the back now. Creel used the other rider as best as he could to get that draft, kicks it at 7 watts per kilogram to try and get back on terms. As you can see though, so incredibly difficult to try and get back to the front now. 70 kilometers per hour, 76, 77 though coming from this group as the gap continues to go out. And so perhaps though the best tactic at this point is allow it to come down to the underground and then kick out of the underground to try and chase those boys back down. But if you let that gap to continue to go out, oh man, it can just get so difficult trying to chase down groups. Just like in real life, you get that slow fade away from you. And actually, Cy Richardson, actually in that GCN race this past Tuesday, was actually chatting about that when he got dropped on the mountain route. He was talking about how just like in a real life race, when you've got that little gap and you're like, oh, I gotta close that down, no big deal, oh, it's kind of going away a little further than I want to, and you try and close it down, and, oh, it's done, it's gone. And there's no closing it down. The group just consistently rolls away from you on a flat section of the course. It's very similar to that in the world of Zwift. If you do not just, make it happen as soon as you get those little bits of gaps, if the group does not slow down for you immensely, it will just roll away from you. It looks like there's about 2 seconds now, and now that they're on a flatter section of the course, they're not going to get that continuous speed up as they come through and help each other with that draft. And it looks like Creel will be able to get back on terms, but A-Kiss, who did get up into that 185 beats per minute, will be the next one to bite the dust off the back. He's got a minute 9 or so over Nico and the other chasers, but a full lap with 1 minute solo TT mode, it looks like here for A-Kiss from the TBR here. Going to have to hammer away, but it looks like Creel now trying to rest up as Daffy Williams pulling at only about 3.3 watts per kilogram, allowing that heart rate to come down a little bit as they put down a crazy effort over the top of Box Hill. This is the A's at the front of the race right now. Now we're going to move on back and see what's happening with the B race though. Top Cat here, it looks like from the AHDR, Old Gray, and the A race as well. Tax Neo here, the first female rider out on course racing against the A's, and it looks like Benki is here with Battiato. Looks like D Cheem as well as RPR Brody there. All the B racers now just making their way up and over the top of Box Hill and finishing up down the downhill section, about to hit the underground. About, it looks like 2 minutes back or so from the front of the race. We are seeing now, it looks like Edvald Bolsenhagen is the one who is out on course. Blake is letting us know. Blake, thanks a lot for the information there. Very appreciated, letting us know who the rider from the Quebec team there was out on course. Team Dimension Data, Quebec, it looks like, was riding up and over the top of Box Hill, and I believe that would have been Edvald then, out on course, the pro rider who is out riding. And if you wanted to see at any time what pro riders are out on course, they do have a little, if you are in the game, there is a little pro badge next to their name, right next to where you do see the time right here, gap between you and the other riders. Looks like D Team out of Korea then here battling it out in the B race with the Italian rider Battiato, and then Benki out of the USA. Very international field, as you can see here. These are riders, if you're unfamiliar with Zwift, these are riders from the entire world. Their country flag is represented on the right hand side, and they're putting out the actual wattage that you're seeing in the upper left hand corner with the heart rate that is being monitored as well, with heart monitor that is connected either through their computer with an ANT plus signal. All of the signals that go to the computers are ANT plus signals, or some of them may be riding right now with an iOS device with a Bluetooth device connected to it, registering that power output and that heart rate output to their iOS device. You can play Zwift with iOS, an iPad, or an iPhone at this point, and you also can play it with a PC or Mac. The two different platforms use different signals though to get the speed going into Zwift. So the way that Benki right now is walking away from the rest of the B riders then is by putting down 250 watts, which is registered directly from his bike that he's pedaling right now out of Michigan, USA, actually, for that race WBR team. And so at 165 beats per minute, 289 watts, he is moving his avatar along right now at, it looks like, 38 kilometers per hour, and has about a 1 second difference between him and the Korean rider riding out of Korea at 173 beats per minute, 236 watts right now to close it down to a Benki. As you can see, all that information that is given to you right on the screen here. On the right-hand side, you can see the watts per kilogram that they're putting out. And some people might be asking, well, that's nice that they're putting out that power. How does that relate to how much the rider actually weighs in real life? Because that's a huge deal. And so you put your weight into the game, actually, and then it takes your watts per kilogram and makes an estimation of how, uses it in a really great algorithm to figure out exactly how fast your avatar actually should be moving based on the power to weight ratio. And that power to weight ratio, you can see right here, watts per kilogram in the right hand side here. You can see that where my cursor is over. F. Aggie currently putting out 1.9, 2.1 watts per kilogram as he lowers that wattage to hang into the wheels of the other B riders that are around him. Moving back now, about a minute 23 back or so. Okay, Russell here, 5.0 watts per kilogram, hanging in with F. Alexandra out of France now. It looks like this is a solid chase group containing also Jay Smitherman out of the USA for an early morning for him. A. Yoon then out of Australia trying to chase him down. Petchak is here as well, and it looks like Vickers. It looks like these boys got all kinds of splittered apart now over the top of Box Hill and coming out of the underground. Basalt's out of Canada, actually coming out of the Vancouver area, hammering away here on that TT bike, trying to get back on terms with the front of the race. Met this boy actually over at the Zwift Tour of North America while I was traveling with them, doing some announcing of those events. And Basalt's hammered away on the King of the Mountain event, actually. Some in real life interaction with the Zwift riders and racers. Always cool to see them out on course. Popovic here now, hammered away, riding for the Z Taz team, it looks like, and the USMES.org there, it looks like, for the kit that he's riding in. And Basalt is giving us a little hi. How's it going there, Basalt? As he's probably watching the broadcast right now. Long time viewer of the channels that we have had up on Twitch as well as Beam and YouTube. All right, back to the front of the race. We do have, it looks like, Dan MBF, Inotsumi, Vegan Porsche, Creel now still here after he made that enormous chase actually down to the other side of Box Hill, down Fox Hill actually on the opposite side of Box Hill. So D Williams is hanging in there strong as well. well. It looks like A-Kiss has fallen a minute 3 back, and as we were saying, he's going to have to hold on to that minute throughout an entire lap. It looks like A. Nico here is now going to try and jump back up to that wheel. 15-second gap, very difficult to close down, but if they get together, they may be able to find a few who might fall off from that front group, actually, up and over the top of Box Hill. We are seeing, coming from Mr. Johnny Noblet, ZCL production manager. Thank you so much for the information here. We'll jump back on over the start-finish line as we wait for some of our C riders to come through here. And it looks like Edvald, Team Dimension Data, is getting them in the mix at the front of the KISS Road Race on the Go Zwift Live Z Community Live. Thanks a lot for the tweet and the pick there. So yeah, as you can see here, there is Bosenhagen actually chasing down the BRT, the Bolt Racing Team rider there with that Norwegian flag. So good to see Edvald out on course, hammering away up and over the top of Box Hill. Thanks a lot for the tweet there. Mr. Johnny Noblet coming from the office. He told me he was working. Looks like he's watching the broadcast instead. Just messing with you, of course, Mr. Johnny. And so as we look at ZwiftPower.com, we can see exactly what the live results are going to be telling us here in just a moment, I believe. We're waiting for them to load. Maybe the watchers need to load yet, though, as we did swap over from Richmond. And so maybe a few of the watchers not quite up and running out on course for the live results to come through. So we'll wait for those, and as soon as they do, we'll be able to get a lot of information on all the riders. If you haven't checked out actually a racer profile over at ZwiftPower.com, make sure to do so. Register with ZwiftPower.com as well in order to make sure that all of your results are recorded well over there and easily trackable for all these races, as well, just to be able to have a good record of everything that you've done. You can also connect your Strava profile there as well. Speaking of other races and all the races that we do in the history of races, well, this week we have done a whole lot of racing and events over on Zwift Community Live. This is the February 6th through February 12th actually broadcasting schedule. The KISS Down Under race happening right now, as you can see. The KISS Americas AM, another Ian Anderson actually, KRT Racer Folk, is going to be happening at 5 a.m. actually. It's just about 2 hours from now. And then later today, I will be doing the KISS Europe race actually with all of you. That is one of the major features actually, as we get some of the most racers showing up for that one. Tomorrow we will be doing race number 5 in the Friday Criterium Series at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time USA. Drop lactic acid 10 p.m. with Zuskana. We're doing her workouts with her as we watch her progress as a women athlete in the world of Zwift. Very cool broadcast. And then of course we have the Cannondale Drapic Pro Team group ride coming up 9 a.m. Central Standard Time on Saturday. That's going to be a great ride where we will have some audio coming directly from them over in Spain at their group ride with Tax and the Cannondale Drapic Pro Team with Mr. Simon Schofield from Zwiftcast live on site then. And then the KISS 100 Vision Racer Focus. And I believe we have a little addition, actually, with maybe a Miss Lindsay Guerra. Maybe going to be hammering away with a KISS 100 Americas then happening, I believe, at 8 a.m. CST. So make sure to watch out for all that. That is always listed on our website, ZwiftCommunityLive.com, as well as pinned to our Facebook. So make sure to head on over there to check that out as well. For every week, it does get updated with new content. If you like to be highlighted on Zwift Community Live, you can do so by jumping into some of the broadcasts with us with some live audio, or we could even, if you're a streamer and you stream at a high quality of content and would like to run group rides or run your coaching through our Zwift Community Live, we want to highlight everything in the community. So it's all about bringing an awesome live presentation of Zwift and what you are up to. We are definitely on the lookout right now for group rides specifically that are more social and just chatting with the other individuals and bringing a presentation of that group ride to the world of Zwift Community Live here. As we look back now, we do see the front, it looks like, of the B category, hammering away a little bit up and over into Trafalgar Square and taking that left-hand turn down into the hall here. Team Gray, it looks like now, just getting a little bit of gap over Badiato, and it looks like Banky here trying to hang on, but at 171 beats per minute on that Tron bike, going out to 2 seconds now. I think this is going to be a snapping point for Banky, as Aggie now is trying to get on to that wheel. Maybe he'll come right on by and increase that speed to try and work their way back up to the front of that B race, but it looks like the elastic is definitely snapping. And now Top Cat here all alone, though, trying to hold off a few of the riders behind here. Kay Russell now, though, it looks like in that C race, as we can see here, out of Australia, hammered away 148 beats per minute, hanging out with Mr. Basalt's just a little ways up. It looks like Basalt's chose to ride, I believe, the TT bike today. Jay Smitherman right along with Bickers as well out of Australia, hammering away here in this chase group right now, as we see here. And it looks like Johnny Noblet here, he isn't messing. It is true, Johnny is saying about, what is Johnny talking about there over at the Facebook? I'm going to have to take a look and see. And Matthew Locker is saying that laugh out loud, guys, get some cadence. I'm assuming that was coming as they were heading up and over the top of Box Hill with some super, super low force work, perhaps common to what we were doing earlier today up and over the top of the mountain route. Actually, Petchak here in the C race trying to chase down Russell. It looks like this is the 1 and 2 here in the C race now. 6 watts per kilogram, absolutely demolishing himself, trying to get up and over the top of this climb as quickly as possible, as Russell is about 52 seconds up, so the chase is on in the C race. We've got Itame here out of Japan then in 3rd place currently in that C race, and followed about 45 seconds back is Pettingill here, as well as Nanos. Nanos then following almost right onto the wheel of Pettingill. It's going to be a little bit of a battle here to get back to that wheel, though, before they hit this uphill gradient at 5.1 watts per kilogram. That is a huge effort, actually, in the C category here. And if he doesn't get back on terms and climb very quickly here, actually going right on by, though, Nanos here now, going right on by Pettingill and then fades because he gets right back onto that wheel. Actually, maybe that's a complete dropout, as we saw 0 watts per kilogram very quickly there. And nope, maybe a little bit tactical, as perhaps he has really put out an effort here to get back with this group. Now back up into 3.7 watts per kilogram. He's going to have to hold on to that wheel immediately. You do not want to slow down too much. You can't be too tactical with your drafting. You got to be very consistent out on Zwift. If you slow down too much, you can put the brakes on too much. And now, again, that 1 second gap, and that will very, very quickly go out if he does not hit that wheel right away. As they come over and crush over that top, that 1 second will go out to 5 seconds so quickly as they come back down the other side of that climb. And so now, as you can see here, he gets almost right back on the wheel, though. It looks like Nanos is going to be able to hang in here for that battle for, I believe, 4th place out on course in that C race. And you do see Tommy here now with a whole bunch of B riders making their way over to Box Hill. We're going to try to find our way back up to the front of the course here, as we do have, it looks like Smitherman right along with Basalts here coming out of Canada being chased down by these boys. D-Team here now with Top Cat making the way up to the top of Box Hill now. And this is about midway, no, actually quarter way up to the top of Box Hill. This is the front of the A race we're back with here with Vegan Porsche Williams, it looks like, as well as the Japanese rider Oroti here coming out of the Z Power land here with Unatsumi now as well out of Japan. Creel now, Dan as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 riders actually. It looks like they dropped Nico off, who is now right along with A Kiss, who was dropped off the first time up and over the top of Box Hill. So now it's going to be a battle between these two to hold on to that 7th place, as Top Cat is trying to chase them down. 26 seconds is definitely doable out on the climb of Box Hill, but it is a killer effort to make up that kind of time, though. 24 seconds now back up to A Kiss, and he actually went with the front of this race early on. Maybe that match was a little bit too much at 185 beats per minute that he saw him doing on the other side of Fox Hill on that downhill section. So well, maybe A Kiss unable to hold on to this gap. We'll see what Top Cat can pull off here for that Bolt Racing team in that top 10, trying to bring back a few of those places. And we were saying earlier, you go a little bit too hard early on, burn a couple too many matches, and you can find yourself off the back very quickly. Speaking of off the back now, Dan and Daffod now, 4 seconds is the difference. Daffod here trying to hang on here, 185 beats per minute coming from Dan, seeing that the gap is going out now. Daffod 150. We did see him up in that 156. He does have about 6 beats to work with, I think, for a consistent effort, but 5 seconds out with the Japanese rider, Vegan Porsche, and then also Inatsumi here absolutely hammering. Jay Creel now, it is a group of 4 that has created this gap, and it looks like this is going to be the battle for the top 4 at this point as the gap continues to go out with the Go-Go Power Ranger at the front there with Vegan hanging right onto that wheel. Not a whole lot of advantage, though, having a draft here on a 5% uphill gradient. So Vegan just following very closely here, maybe looking to set up for a sprint at the end. Actually, I have a feeling that Vegan's going to want to get away at about halfway up this course. So right about now is where he needs to attack, actually, in order to have a solid battle, I think, with these boys, as Vegan being, I think, right around 140-pound rider is going to be pressed, I believe, to sprint it out with a few of the other riders if they're able to hang with him here. Jay Creel now, it looks like 166 beats per minute, 253 watts or so. Tsumi now 5.0 watts per kilogram, 333 watts as well. All these riders actually look fairly close in watts per kilogram where their watts are at, actually, except for Horiyuki here at 380 or so, hammering away now. 5.6 and jumping all over the place with the wattage right now, trying to get away and cause this gap. Vegan just hanging on here, 182 beats per minute. I know that he is definitely getting up toward the max, up over a threshold right now. That VO2 max effort that you have to put out to hold on to a 6-minute effort over the top of Box Hill. I have a feeling we're going to bring down that time. 6:18 was the time up and over the top last time we saw. We were seeing the next group that taxed Neo there at a 6:39. Where did that rider go? That was the lead female rider. She was in and amongst these top 20 or so, but we're not seeing her currently. I'm going to work our way back here, see if we can find the rider. Maybe dropped out of the race, was just getting a solid one lap, and maybe had to move on with the day or something. It looks like, because I'm not seeing her here. In and amongst any of the chase groups. Back up to the front now. We do have Vegan Porsche, though, still hanging in. 3 up the front. Jay Creel now, after that crazy effort on the downhill. Now, one last look at this. You can see it's getting a little bit desperate here to get back with these front runners, as he is throwing down that feather power up in order to decrease the weight of his avatar. We might be able to see actually the change in his avatar. Watch his avatar right now, and his avatar should have changed a little bit there. It does get lighter, and it actually usually changes its graph a little bit in order to make it smaller to represent that change in weight when you do use that feather power up. Now he goes the Australian rider Jay Creel hammering away. We're getting a little bit of a cheer here coming from actually Pete Donahue. Pete, always good to see you in the broadcast, actually, one of the admins over at Zwift Fitness, actually, and then also David Heidel here saying go Aussies. And and then Pete as well here is saying, let's go Aussies. So a lot of Australians, looks like, from the land down under, cheering on their countrymen, as Creel and Vegan here are representing up at the front. But the Japanese, you guys, they're starting to take off. You better get into the Zwift mobile link and start giving those ride-ons to your countrymen, because it is a 2-second gap right now. The Tsumi and Hiruyuki now are throwing down, and they're going to have to chase these pixels like crazy. Vegan Porsche now with that aero power up, 183 beats per minute right now. 42 kilometers per hour. Creel now 47 kilometers per hour, 5 extra. Porsche now kicking it. This last little kick up over the top. Needs to get back with Creel right now. He is the lighter rider, I think, so actually hitting that last little kick up Box Hill might give him some advantage now. Will the RNG be in his favor? Will he be able to grab another power up rather than something else underneath that KOM banner? When you do go underneath the banner, you do get some sort of a power up or an experience boost. Zippity doo on a race with the experience boost, though, because it doesn't help you all that much. Creel here now hammering away with that feather power up. Actually, maybe not quite the right time to use it, because that kicker at that 9% gradient is really the point, I think, where he's going to want that now. But will the Australian win the down under race is the question now, as the two Japanese riders really start to turn the screws here up and over the top of Box Hill. It looks like Vegan Porsche might be having to settle for 4th place out on course, assuming he can hold off Dan and Daffod here, who are coming up over the top with a solid time of, I think they're going to be right around a 6:30 or so over the top, maybe even 6:40. As these riders up front didn't actually better the 6:18, though, it looks like. Looks like 6:18.8 is actually the time that is going to be the good one for the day. Now, we do see about a 9 watt per kilogram there coming from Tsumi now, the Japanese rider, hammering away now. Creel now, it looks like, is now fading backwards. It's going to be 2 Japanese riders, one on the go-go power range, the other one's on a power meter source, actually, though, hammering away here. We'll give them both ride-ons as they make their way down this other side of Box Hill. Now it's going to be a battle between the 2 Japanese riders for that first place. Jay Creel Creel now with Vegan Porsche going to have to battle it out over the top of Box Hill. Now 15 seconds is the difference between these two riders now. 17 seconds to make up for Creel. I'm not sure it's going to happen. Does he have an arrow power up? We have no idea what he grabbed there. Now we do see Daffod here with the attack on over the top coming for Mr. Dan MBF out of Great Britain. The two riders coming out of Great Britain here battling it out for that 5th place out on course. Nico here out of Japan as well, just crossing the banner, grabbing some sort of power up, it looks like, as well here with Kiss and then Top Cat Team. This is the battle in the B race now. It looks like Team now coming out of Korea is absolutely killing it with Battiato now 22 seconds back in that B race coming out of Italy. Banky here holding down 3rd place, but Pedlo is trying to chase him down just about 1 second back out of Australia. There, Old Gray from the Bolt Racing Team then part of the A race with a few B riders coming right on by there for that top 3 in the B race. S. Brody here, 4.1 watts per kilogram coming from the Australian now, trying to chase down Eggy there and Old Gray, it looks like. See if we can work our way back up toward the front of the race now as they are making their way down Box Hill. It looks like Creel here almost to the bottom with the two Japanese riders. He's holding on actually to that gap at 17 seconds. There is the underground, which is like a 15% gradient or so. That is a killer climb, actually. And you can make up a huge amount of time, actually, on there if you have a big kick. You know, he's going to have to kick like crazy to make it happen. At 5.0 watts per kilogram, 162 beats per minute coming from Creel. It may be able to happen yet, as we're looking over here to see if we can get some live results from SwiftPower.com. Nothing coming through just yet, it looks like. And Andrew Burns is saying that thought HR monitor was compulsory for A grade riders, and this is true. They are compulsory. Sometimes there is changes, though, to not changes, but sometimes once in a blue moon we do have an excuse, not an excuse, well, maybe an excuse. I raced one time, and James Hodges actually changed the results when I raced without a heart rate monitor. I'm Zada approved, and they were like, well, Nathan Zada approved. We know what power source he was on. But yes, they are compulsory. And Hurrioti is on Z Power. He cannot win the A category. Just so you guys know, Inatsumi can win the A category because he's on a power meter source. He is getting a little bit of benefit going with the Go-Go Power Ranger here at the front, but Hirioti cannot win the race. He neither has a heart rate monitor and he's also on Z Power, and Zwift Power riders cannot win A category races, just so you know. So yeah, Inatsumi is going to be the one who is in it for the win here, but Creel here, only 6 seconds back, has kept them within his sights here, and if he kicks hard enough up and over the top here, he's gonna have some huge wattage though right now. And as you can see here, Inatsumi putting out 8 watts per kilogram. What does Creel have left? He's been chasing forever now, and I just don't think he's got it. It's 3 seconds out. They're right there. I mean, look at what the gap is. They're right there, but it's 7 watts per kilogram kick now at the end here. Inatsumi getting that benefit here, hanging on to the Power Ranger. Now, as you can see, Vegan Porsche here, only 10 seconds back for Creel here, putting out a solid effort, actually. He might be able to close this down. Daffod Williams only 38 seconds back. It's all coming back together now, but he did make that attack on Dan here, it looks like, and got Dan to fall off by about 14 seconds. And man, everybody's kind of in this solo TT mode. It's only a 1 minute difference between all the riders up toward the front of this race right now. And David Heights saying over at Facebook saying, I think the Tron bike should be checked for mechanical doping. I love it. I love the comments. Now 12 watts per kilogram coming from Inatsumi here. Now the Japanese rider, how long can he hold on to 13 watts per kilogram? If he can hold on to that for too long, he might get a tag, actually, as 12 watts per kilogram, 750 watts like that. If he goes at that for over a minute, he may get a little bit of a tag there. Actually, we do have that bug, it looks like, is still out on course, boys and girls, as this is supposedly the finish, but the finish for the race is actually at the start-finish line, so we'll have to wait and see how they're going to figure this one out today, as we have had a little bit of a bug in-game lately where they are crossing an imaginary line a little bit too early out on this course, actually. Now, Vegan here hammering away. It looks like it's going to be taking 4th place on the day. We're going to have to wait for ZwiftPower.com for the rest of the results. I believe it would have been the two Japanese riders, then followed by Creel, and now Vegan Porsche now just crossed the line in 4th place. Now Daffod Williams here, it looks like, coming in for 5th place ahead of Dan MBF. Now it is going to be a little bit too bad with that still in the game, as we're going to have a little bit of a struggle getting any of the good sprints here for you boys and girls for the broadcast right now, as a lot of them may just stop racing once they hit that imaginary line that we are seeing existing right here. As we do see, when you see all the riders nearby on the right hand side just open up like that, that means they entered all the other riders, the open world riding, and now they can see everybody who's out on course, not just the riders who are a part of your event. And it looks like they're crossing this imaginary line right about there at that section, of course, that we just saw him go through there just a moment ago, right by those phone booths, actually. Nico, 41 seconds up, it looks like, from a Kiss. And in the B race, though, this is that battle we were talking about. We're going to follow in for the B race, it looks like, here with D. Cheem, Battiato, and Pedlo. It looks like Cheem is going to be able to walk away in this B race today with the W. Battiato here at 3.9 watts per kilogram. I'm trying to chase down Cheem, with Pedlo now at 4.3 as well, holding down to 3rd place. And I believe this is going to be the finishing order that they're going to finish in, unless Pedlo can really put down a kick up and out of the underground here. Cheem trying to chase down Top Cat, who's only a little ways up, actually 3 seconds. Not a battle for the win for the B race. I don't believe Top Cat races in the B category. He does not have B in his name right now. It is a 6-second difference between him and the Korean rider. He is doing everything he can to hold him off, though, as it is a battle to the line between them. A Kiss here now, who was with the lead group initially, then got dropped off, now going to finish about 2 minutes back. A Nico here, and it looks like right there, right before they hit that bus stop, is where the imaginary finish line is actually out there on course. Johnny Nobbit with a little bit of update there over at the Facebook, saying it is compulsory if you take the win. So if you take the win, it is compulsory. And we are seeing, let's see here. I haven't actually been interacting at all with the Zwift Community Live over at the beam. Good to see all you guys over there. Wallstrom is hanging out here. EBH, James Hodges saying no Zwift Power results this morning and for the next 5 hours, including Kiss America's AM Strava only. James is letting us know. All right, thanks a lot, James. I appreciate the update there. Shocker, 2 riders, both DQ'd, winning down under again. Sorry to hear that, James. I figured that was what was going on up at the front there. So actually, for all of you Australian riders, according to the race officials, James Hodges is saying that Australia won. Vegan Porsche 2nd place. Creel, numero uno, I believe it was Creel, right? So Creel, Jay Creel, with the win, followed by Vegan Porsche. Top Cat here just crossed the line. Looks like Cheem then, followed by Battiato. This is a battle right to the line, it looks like, here between these riders. Absolutely hammering out on course here. So Italian rider now 6 seconds up from Pedlo. And it looks like it's going to be Battiato just barely able to hold on to this 4.1 watts per kilogram, as long as there isn't a huge kick from the Power Ranger just a little ways behind him. Brody is going to be bringing it in here for 4th place, battling out with Banky, who does have a little bit of power up to get right onto that wheel. And now Banky is going to kick, it looks like, a little early here, 4.2 watts per kilogram. Going right on by Brody, has a gap of 4 meters. Now it's see, it goes out of, if it goes over 5 meters, you no longer have, they're no longer able to draft on you, actually. So now, are they going to go all the way to the line? That's the question. Now we are seeing this sprinting situation here. I'm not sure what they're going to do. You might have riders actually give up prior to the race actually being over, or where is the line, asking that question. And now you do see the BRT rider giving one last little kick here. Now, is he going to drop his wattage? I think he's going to go right to the line, actually. Yep, he is holding on to 5.0 watts per kilogram. Banking here, trying to hang on. Brody now off the back by 9 meters now, and now the battle is on. Gray here, 3.4 now, maybe fading a little bit. 1 second is the difference now. Banky does not have a draft on the rider here. 8 meters, 7 meters is the difference now. 6 meters, gets right back onto that wheel, and now is he going to sit in and wait for the kick at the line? Daffod Williams saying, does that mean I got the podium then? I think it does, Daffod. If you came in for a top 5 or so, I believe you were somewhere within there. Did you come in right behind Vegan there, Daffod? So then it means that you got 3rd place if you did come in right behind Vegan Porsche. I was not able to keep track after the update there, so... David Heights saying thumbs up to Australia. Good to see you still hanging out at the broadcast there. And good job to all the Australians out. And of course, looks like O'Grady battles it out to the line with Banky here for that next place. And then Brody in the B category. moving our way back here, we've got a few. Matthew Locker's wondering why that was a DQ. So the race organizers, first of all, reserve the right to DQ anything that they see as not being a correct setup with their either no heart rate monitor or Z power or whatever it might be, but also they're able to track down whether or not their calibration is correct with their power meter source. Okay, and so if riders are putting out over 5 watts per kilogram for the duration of the race, they're showing that they have numbers that need to be checked out, and so they get a little DQ next to their name saying, hey, you put out over 5 watts per kilogram, please speak with our race organizers and our ZADA. I'm not a part of that whole, as a broadcaster, I'm not a part of all of that, but there is a ZADA organization, Zwift Anti-Doping Association, that is put together in order to make sure to check in on riders that are putting out pro numbers to say, hey, look, do you realize the kind of numbers you are putting out? Because a lot of riders just don't realize. They jump into Zwift, they buy a smart trainer, they think it's well calibrated, they think that there's nothing going on with whatever kind of trainer source or power source that they've gone out there and bought, and they jump on Zwift, they start racing, oh, I'm crazy fast, and they're winning these A races, and sometimes they don't realize that, look, you just put out numbers comparable to those in the Tour de France. Maybe we should check this out. Can you send us some power files from a real life effort on a strain gauge power meter outside? They do that. They connect those results then and look at the 2 different files with a whole lot of analyzation and say, look, for your 5-minute power, 1-minute peak power, 20-minute peak power, 1-hour peak power, all the different peak powers that we're seeing from these power files from that strain gauge power meter are matching up at the percentages around here. And then they work with the rider to make sure that they can still race, actually. And they do a couple of changes maybe on the rider's avatar's weight, or just try and get them on a better power source maybe. There's all different ways that Zada tries to work with the riders to make sure that they just have a most accurate source. But if they continue to produce those pro-type numbers and never respond to Zada and never at least try to work with them in some sort of a way, they will continually get that DQ unless they can show some real-life efforts that are able to put out that kind of numbers. If you're out there putting out 5.0 plus watts per kilogram and you do not have a power meter that you're able to be using and you aren't training with one on a daily basis, I would be very surprised anyways that you wouldn't have those kind of files on hand. So that's why the DQs. So those were some questions that were coming from the sources. They're just trying to make sure that everything as accurate as possible. It looks like there was an update to the game. Did the game update or something? Because all of a sudden, it is no longer causing the riders to come through an early finish line, as I can see here, unless these are the only riders nearby right now, but I'd be really surprised by that. Let's go ahead and see if C. Newton crosses the line here and actually gives us a finish. It looks like it's going to be a proper finish here for Newton as he comes across the line, followed by Devereaux, and then Taub here. Pettingill is there as well with Popovic and J. New chasing down in the C category. I believe this is within the top 10 in the C category. Where did I finish? Top Cat, you were in the A category, I think somewhere within the top 10. I'm sorry, Tony, I do not have exactly. I got a little bit distracted from that, but I did see you come in just ahead of Banky, I believe, right? You were battling it out with Bankies. I believe you were within the top 10 within the A category. For all the replays, just so you know, guys, you can head on over to YouTube. We have a YouTube channel, Zwift Community Live. Actually, I'll go ahead and bring up a graphic here really quickly as Jay New makes his way to the finish line. In the lower right-hand corner, you can see here, youtube.com, Zwift Community Live. All of our replays will be there. We do have them here on the Facebook, but it is a lot easier to sift through them over at our YouTube for Zwift Community Live. All VODs, all replays, full replays, all available over there for all the stuff that we do here on Zwift Community Live. Looks like Jay New now just making his way to the finish line in the C category, somewhere within the top 10 in the C's. Looks like Stephanie here. Now, Stefan making his way out of Switzerland here, hammering away in the A category, followed by Davidson here, Pro 4 as well, out of Australia. Nishida there coming out of Japan, followed by the Russian rider, Kotsevakov here, hammering away in the B race. Susnik for Vision Cycling there with a large group of C category riders just coming out of the underground. Dreamy HIK here out of the Netherlands, hammering away, trying to beat, it looks like, Chilcott to the line. X Defy here as well, a little ways up, about 30 seconds up from that chase group containing Chilcott and Dreamy now. Smelly, is that on purpose there? S. Melly now making their way to the line here on the Go-Go Power Rangers, 4.2 watts per kilogram, trying to chase down Dreamy and Chilcott, it looks like. D-Walls here out of Belgium, hammering away on Smelly's wheel. Jay Burns here now as well. Zato, what a time to be alive, Mark Middleton says. Thanks. Good to see you here in the broadcast. Top Cat, I really appreciate you hanging out and jumping in here to the broadcast here. And it looks like Mark Middleton said, beaming from phone to TV, watching people racing virtually on bikes in bedrooms and garages around the world. That is the best. That comment actually, let's go ahead and bring that in here actually. That one wins the day, I think, actually, coming from Mark Middleton. Beaming from phone to TV, watching people racing virtually on bikes in bedrooms and garages around the world. Hashtag future is now. I absolutely love that one, actually. Great comment there, Mark Middleton, and good to have you here in the broadcast, actually. So that's maybe we need to have like winning comment. You know, we're watching all these people win out on course right now. Winning comment, winning tweet, winning social media interaction, and that's coming from Mark Middleton today. That will highlight that one for sure. Mark, great observation there. The future is now. Absolutely awesome. All right, so bringing it in for the finish for their race here, coming from the C category now. As you can see, Susnik now with Kobayashi here, and Susnik now from Vision Cycling with a kick right before the line here, it looks like, and it looks like 9.5 watts per kilogram, 186 beats per minute. Absolutely killing it on that Cervelo S5. Grabs the gap here over Kobayashi now. Is he going to stop sprinting, though, as he does probably just see a finish times up in front of him? Nope, he's going to keep on going all the way to the line. He realizes he has to make it right to that Prudential Ride London start-finish line. 4.6 watts per kilogram. McMillan's trying to chase him down with J-Bot and Kobayashi. It looks like McMillan may be able to chase. Actually, no, it's going to be J-Bot here. He's going to try and chase him down, actually. Now we no longer can see Susnik, though. Looks like Park here out of Korea now just about to cross the line. Susnik is disappeared from our site here. Some of the riders have the bug and some of them don't, so that's going to be interesting as Park here comes across the line. Susnik now, we are going to be able to see him here in just a second. Where did he go? Trying to get to that line. We are seeing Adrian Timmis here logging in. He had a solid ride actually yesterday in the SCR series, race series, trying to chase down Philip Diner off the front, actually. Good battle, and I think he took down a solid third place out on course on the Richmond Worlds course, actually, yesterday. Nice job to Susnik there with this battle to the line in that C category, followed by J-Bot, and then it looks like Paulie Mack here trying to hold off G. Baker out of Australia. G. Baker, 4.3 watts per kilogram in that C category. We'll give him a ride on as well in that No Man's TT effort. 193 beats per minute right now coming from Baker, giving us a little bit of a kick, giving us a little bit of show actually here. 7.8 watts per kilogram. Maybe he's watching the broadcast knowing that we're watching. 193, 194. How hard can he get the heart rate today, boys and girls? Keeps on kicking, and looks like he's going to phase. He gets the imaginary finish line there. It doesn't look like there's any racers anywhere near him anyways now. H. Han here out of Korea here. Looks like she's going to be crossing the line here pretty soon now, hanging on to M. Whitaker's wheel out of Australia. Solid ride for both of these riders, it looks like. 137 beats per minute coming from Whitaker, Drag, and Han into the finish line. T. Fraser here also out of Canada. 190 beats per minute coming from the Canadian rider. And that's the thing, man. We can see in Zwift these efforts, regardless if you finish at the front, you finish at the back, you can see over and over again these heart rates, these efforts are huge. The chasing of the pixels is the best workout you can possibly get. Indoor cycling made social by Zwift has made it so you interact with these riders and push yourself in this live environment as hard as you possibly can to get the best result that you possibly can. And the witness of other riders with you in game causes that to be the extra effort you throw down. And you know how it goes. If you've ever raced a bike, you know that your race efforts are always your best peak powers when you throw down and put it all on the line out there for those races. So it's making it a social competitive environment that you're live racing against and riding with these other riders is what really tends to push you with that Zwift effect out on course. Looks like Zwift is actually hanging out in channel right now with the hashtag ride on and a little bit of a thumbs up there coming from Zwift themselves. Thanks a lot for stopping in, Zwift, and giving us the ride on here over at the channel. A little bit of highlight there for Zwift there. Glad to have you at the broadcast of course here. So looks like as we move our way back here, we're going to see if we can find a few more of the riders. I really like to highlight all of the riders in all the races. That is definitely something that we can do. And it looks like not racing out there today, but Edvald Bosenhagen coming out of Norway there, hammering away on Box Hill. It looks like he's completing 65 kilometers total today, actually. An hour and 51 minutes into his workout, chilling out on the other side of Box Hill, maybe hitting Box Hill kind of hard, and then coming down the other side on Fox kind of easily, as we did see him right alongside a few of the competitors there, looking like he was doing somewhat of a tempo effort for himself up and over the top of Box Hill. It looks like now he's resting it up, maybe just finishing out a 2-hour workout there out on course, 65.4K in. So solid ride, it looks like, here for Bosenhagen, hanging out on course for Team Dimension Data. Good to see him out there. Bringing it in then for the D category race then, Bowman looks like 1.9 watts per kilogram. I think this might be the lead in the D category for Great Britain here. Sunda's there as well. Sino actually coming out of Spain there. Senso actually, excuse me, Vicenzo out of Spain here. About 6 seconds up from Soon. Going to be a battle out of the underground with Dooley as well. Out of Great Britain, trying to hold off Senso. Only 1.8 watts per kilogram. Going to be a battle of the line, I think. 145 beats per minute coming from this rider. Actually coming right on by Edvald here in just a second as he cools down. We'll see if they're going to just hang out with Edvald, actually. Maybe hang onto his wheel and try and get dragged in to the finish line by the rider there. Adrian Porsche saying, thanks for the broadcast, Nathan. Getting a little bit of comments here coming from the face of the book there, from one of the racers, actually. Adrian J. Porsche, thanks for the broadcast, Nathan. Thanks for the viewers, also for the support. Solid ride coming from Porsche there, actually, with the second place today for Vision Cycling, actually out on course in the Kiss Down Under race to Jay Creel. Tried to chase him down, but just couldn't make it happen on the other side of Box Hill, but it was a solid effort. I believe in I hope he was able to keep dinner down, as he was chatting a little bit prior to the ride, actually, about how he just eaten and then jumped right on for the ride here out on course now. Senso able to hold off Sund, it looks like, and Dooley. Bowman now coming into the uphill underground, and Cura now as well. It's going to be a battle up out of the underground here. Let's see what kind of waters that they can throw down. Bowman going to be the winner, it looks like, in the D category race now, as Cura, I do not believe, is, well, he doesn't have D in his name here. Ema, I think, is the next rider out of Australia there for the D category. So L. Bowman, 3.0 watts per kilogram to the line. Anthony Porsche is letting us know that 4.8 watts per kilogram for 44 minutes. Thanks, Zwift, as you are the best workout, Anthony Porsche is saying. Good to see. Okay, so I got an Adrian J. Porsche, and I've got an Anthony Porsche. I'm sorry, Anthony. I made a mistake there. I was wondering if you changed up your. If you changed up your name. So I actually have two Porsches here. Have I gotten you guys mixed up before? Anthony hangs out in the broadcast a lot, actually. So I just didn't see that the profile picture was different there. So Adrian, do you so which one was the one at the front, or do you have two different Facebook profiles? That's the question. So we've got two 8 Porsches here hanging out in the broadcast here, and now we're getting a little bit confused about who here. But we've got Smitherman here from the US of A. Smitherman, you are up super early, kind of like myself and Banky here. And so it looks like Zwift Live is awesome. Zwift Community Live is awesome. I appreciate that, Jason Smitherman. We really appreciate the support of all the viewers that do hang out here in the broadcast for sure. So Jason Smitherman, thanks for stopping in to the broadcast. And nice job on your race today. I believe you and Banky were battling it out to the line. The two Americans, or at least battling it out, trying to hold each other off to the line here. So, all right, Bowman here, making his way to the line here. It looks like solid ride for Bowman in the D category. It looks like Ema then going to be taking second place. So I think that is going to be it then for our race broadcast today, boys and girls, out here on the Prudential Ride London course. The D riders just making their way to the line there. It was Bowman then. We do not have any results live here just yet, as it looks like ZwiftPower.com is going to be down for a little bit. It said for the next 4 to 5 hours. James Hodges was letting us know, one of the developers over at ZwiftPower.com, so we're going to have to wait for that update. But we will have for the rest of the day here on Thursday. Here is the rest of our coverage over at Zwift Community Live. We will be live at all the places you see in the lower left-hand corner there, Beam.pro, Twitch TV, YouTube, as well as here on Facebook. Those are the 4 places we are currently live right now. And all of our VODs are available over on YouTube. Currently coming up here in just a little under, it looks like hour and a half, we will have a KRT Racer Focus with Mr. Ian Anderson. Make sure to check that out, as he won the last B race that he did out on Zwift actually on Tuesday. That was really fun to watch that race actually from that racer's point of view. Then we will be doing the KISS Europe race, one of the largest races out on Zwift actually, coming up at 2 p.m. CST today. And then tomorrow, make sure to tune in for the Friday Criterium Series and Drop Lactic Acid. Saturday, Cannondale Pro Team, Drapic Pro Team out of Spain actually, with the team group ride, 9 a.m. CST. We'll be featuring that with live some audio and live shots, maybe even some live audio and interview, maybe social interaction coming from you guys directly to the riders as well. We'll see if we can make that happen for you, but we will be featuring that ride on Saturday, and then me suffering for about 2.5 hours or so in the KISS 100 race, followed by Lindsay actually, I think, maybe racing a KISS AM as well for the Americas about 8 hours after that. I think on Sunday. We may be adding that to the program. So again, thanks guys, everybody, for tuning in today. We'll see you in just an hour and a half for Mr. Ian Anderson out on course, and have a great night, have a great morning, have a great day, wherever you are out there in the world. The future is now, that's for sure. And we'll see you guys in just a little bit here with Ian Anderson for his Racer Focus out on Zwift Community Live. Oh, well, the stream's not starting soon, boys and girls. There you go.